Hey guys, today we're going to be working on this old homelite chainsaw. The issue we're having is it bogs down and it can't get to full power, and if it can, it just loses power as you cut things. So we're going to look into this issue. First though, let me show you what's going on. Another issue that this chainsaw was having was that it doesn't idle. It'll just die as soon as you let off the throttle, and it won't idle. So we're going to have to adjust the carburetor as well. And this is a vintage Homelite Super 2 chainsaw. I have here the Homelite service guide, which I just downloaded off the internet and printed. And we're just going to troubleshoot it as the manual states. So if we flip to the page that we need, engine runs too rich or floods. We got a couple of issues. Number one, the spark arrestor, muffler, or exhaust port is restricted. So we'll look at that. Second is restricted air filter. So we'll look at that. And then oil-soaked air filter, etc. So we're going to start with the air filter and then move on to the spark arrestor. And so I'll show you what I mean now by it not idling right and bogging down. So we'll start it up. So as soon as I let off the throttle, it dies. And you could also hear that it sort of bogs when you rev it up. It bogs more when it's under a load, so when I'm cutting wood, but it does still bog here. And then, as you saw, the idle's not quite right. Alright, so like I said, we're going to start by looking at the air filter. And usually the air filter is just underneath the plastic cover. I'm used to working on newer saws than this, to be honest. This is, I think the Super 2 came out in '71. So you don't see too many of these around anymore. But hopefully it's similar in structure to the newer saws. Let's get started by cracking open this plastic cover. Alright, we're in a little bit of trouble. I got a strip screw already. Okay, I got a little bit of a penetrating oil. So let's see if this works. Nope. Okay, so since this cover is stuck on with a strip screw and it's soaking in penetrating oil, I'm going to take off the front cover first, just to see what goodies it holds. I'm gonna get a bucket so I can dump some of the gas out. Alright. Anybody hungry for some Milanos? Don't know if you can see that. I have to get these ones out. At least they're not Phillips. This is just me getting some of the grime out first, in case you were wondering. Alright, put you back to your regular spot. There you go. Oh yeah, but it'll be good to clean this all up. If you look right there, there's where the air filter is and the carburetor. So we can just take off this guy like that. And right there is the air filter. So let's pull this guy out and have a look. You gotta be careful with this because you can't find parts for these old guys very easily anymore. So there it is. It's got some sawdust on it, not too bad. Definitely I'll clean it off though. This old engine sure is dirty though. Look at all this sawdust everywhere. Not surprising though on a 40-year-old saw. So there it is before and after I've cleaned it up. You can see it looks a lot better now. This might be a repair soon. The switch doesn't really work on this guy anymore. On. Close. So I did get the air compressor running. It turned out to be a circuit breaker issue, so I just reset the circuit breaker. Now it's good. I've got a lot of PSIs, so we're going to clean out this engine right here. Alright, so we want to make sure before we blow all the air, the dirt out of here to put the air filter back on, just to make sure none of the sawdust gets into the carburetor. Alright, the air filter is back in there. And just clearing all this off helps it so that the motor doesn't overheat and so nothing really goes wrong. And you can see the dirt that was on the motor. It's all over my waterproof lid. It's just a lid for a Tupperware, but I use it so that I don't get any water on the table or gasoline on the table. Or dirt, for that matter. You can see all the dirt here. And here's the interior of the pull cord assembly. There's a lot of buildup in here too, and the pull cord is actually broken here. There's supposed to be these little plastic things all around, but it still works, so we're gonna leave it for this for now. And I just will have the customer bring it back in, and I'll fix this for free if it breaks for them, because I don't want to get the new piece for them now and charge them extra. So I'll just fix it for free if it breaks for them in the future. I'll clean this out really quickly for them. Alright, so as you can see, this does look a lot better now. And here's all the sawdust that came off of it. Alright, with the Tupperware cleaned off, or Tupperware lid cleaned off, we will start reassembling the saw. You can see this is clean as well. Alright, top parts next. Alright, so the cleaning of the air filter may have solved our bog issue, but I just want to show you guys something else that is often the culprit of a boggy chainsaw. It's called the spark arrestor. So we're going to get that out and we're going to clean that. It's oftentimes the issue if you have a boggy chainsaw. So just want to put in your flathead screwdriver and remove the, and this may not pertain to yours if you have a newer saw. You may have a different way of getting out your muffler. Alright, so you just take open and you split open your muffler like that, and you can see it's pretty dirty in here. And right here, we can get this out, is the spark arrestor screen. Now our screen, I don't know if you can see this. This screen is very clear on ours. We got a couple little carbon spots up here, but for the most part this screen is actually in really good condition. And to clean this spark arrestor, what you want to do is get your blowtorch and just heat it all up, and then once you've done that, you're going to take a wire brush
and just brush off all the carbon, and it will just come off nice and easy. Okay, so I've got the spark arrestor in my vice grips, and we're going to take the blowtorch there it is, and you want to make sure you're away from all gas and lighter fluid and everything like that. We're just going to heat this up, and it may like burn and catch fire. That's okay, that's the carbon. Alright, then we're going to grab our wire brush, which I don't have, so I use a toothbrush. And then you can poke out the real holes with a little paper clip or something like that. Alright, so you can see the difference. Here's where we cleaned off, and here's where we didn't. So there's a lot more carbon buildup here, and you can see here is a lot easier for the exhaust to pass through. And it's a lot lighter colored now because we brushed off all the carbon. Put this back in the saw and we'll see how the bog is. Alright, let's reattach the muffler. Alright, so you want to line up your spark arrestor back in the exhaust. And now that I've cleaned the outside of this, we can hopefully not get any more carbon on it. Line this up just like that. And then you have to try to get the screw through the other side. So let's see if I can do that here. So there, it's through the other side. So before I go out to adjust the idle, I'll let you know this is the high speed screw, and we're probably not going to play with this one too much since it is the idle we're having an issue with. And so the low screw, or the idle screw, is down here. There's only 2 adjustment screws on this carburetor because it was a little older. This one I checked was turned out 6.5 turns, which is pretty far, and the low screw was turned out 1.5 turns. So I will probably turn that one out a little bit more. We'll see what the chainsaw tells me to do though. And if you can't tell, I developed a cold, so that's why my voice sounds a little funny. Alright, let's see if we can get it to run properly. Forgot to put gas in it. Okay, so unfortunately this gas has been sitting out in the -5-degree weather, so it's a little cold, but home lights are tough. It'll manage. A little more. Idling at where I like it, so let's go ahead and chop some wood with it and see how it does. Alright. Just how I like it. It's got plenty of torque. It idles well. No longer has a bog when it's under a load. So I'll go ahead and sharpen the chain, tighten the chain, and we'll give it back to the customer. Alright, and that's the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching.